Me, as a count as basically a legal knockdown.
And if they do?
Yeah, but the ref said no, but the judge could.
The boxing world has been buzzing with controversy following the recent majority draw between Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Lamont Roach. The contentious moment occurred in the 9th round when Davis took a knee after receiving a blow from Roach near the eye, an action many believed should have been ruled a knockdown. However, referee Steve Willis did not count it as such, leading to a cascade of reactions from fighters, promoters, and analysts alike. This incident has sparked intense debate within the boxing community and has also landed Davis in legal trouble. Investigations have uncovered recordings of conversations between him and Willis, further complicating the situation. The incident unfolded when Davis, after being struck, dropped to one knee and then walked to his corner, where his co-trainer, Calvin Ford, wiped his face with a towel. Davis later explained that he felt a chemical sting in his eye, possibly from hair product, and was seeking relief. However, the rules of boxing are clear. Taking a knee during a round, especially after being hit, is typically considered a knockdown, which would cost the fighter a point. Many argue that Willis should have deducted a point from Davis, which could have shifted the round in Roach's favor and potentially altered the fight's outcome. Instead, Willis began an 8-count, but stopped it prematurely, allowing Davis to continue without penalty. This decision has been widely criticized as a failure to enforce the rules consistently. Lamont Roach, the Washington-based fighter, didn't let the matter rest. Frustrated by the New York State Athletic Commission's refusal to overturn the majority draw, he escalated the issue by requesting an investigation into what transpired in Davis's corner and the referee's interactions with his team. The subsequent probe revealed audio evidence of discussions between Davis and Willis, although the contents have not been made public. This evidence has fueled speculation about Willis's impartiality, with some suggesting he may have been swayed by Davis's star power or the electric atmosphere of the event at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. The recordings reportedly contained incriminating details, further complicating Davis's position. Gervonta Davis is now facing the daunting task of defending himself in court against allegations of misconduct. Lamont Roach, the Washington-based fighter, also pointed to another moment in the 9th round that he believes was mishandled, though the New York State Athletic Commission dismissed his claims. However, this only deepened the perception that the commission mishandled the situation, raising eyebrows from boxing professionals who argue that the integrity of the sport is now at stake. Unlike sports like basketball or football, where timeouts can be called for injuries or strategic breaks, boxing offers no such reprieve. The expectation in boxing is that fighters must persevere through adversity within the unforgiving 3-minute rounds, adhering to the sport's brutal nature. Davis's decision to take a knee and seek assistance from his corner has been criticized as an illegal timeout, a move many believe should not have been tolerated. The fallout from this incident has been significant. Davis, a celebrated figure with a massive fan following and a history of generating high pay-per-view numbers, now faces legal consequences that could potentially sideline him for an extended period. His court case has drawn commentary from his peers, including Shakur Stevenson, who offered a measured take on the situation. Stevenson, a rival of Davis, acknowledged their past friendship and current tension, attributing it to Davis's pride and ego. Despite Davis previously mocking Stevenson's victory over Josh Taylor, Stevenson refrained from trolling him over his legal troubles. Instead, he expressed readiness for a potential fight once Davis's legal issues are resolved. However, with Davis now entangled in court proceedings, marquee matchups against Stevenson or a rematch with Roach may be delayed indefinitely. Stevenson also took to X, formerly Twitter, to suggest that if Roach couldn't secure a rematch with Davis, he would offer Roach a shot at his world title, highlighting their mutual respect. Meanwhile, Danny Garcia's father, Angel Garcia, offered a different perspective, emphasizing the unseen pressures that athletes often face behind the scenes. He argued that while Davis's record and pound-for-pound ranking may have slipped, he remains a formidable fighter whose hunger should not be underestimated. Garcia Sr. suggested that Davis's actions during the fight might have been a throwback to his amateur days, where such moves might have been overlooked. However, he stressed that professional boxing demands a much higher standard of conduct. Oscar De La Hoya, a 6th Division world champion and promoter, also weighed in on the controversy, during a conversation with Colin McEnroe on TV. De La Hoya expressed surprise at how referee Steve Willis handled the situation, calling into question the fairness and consistency of the decision-making in the bout. As Davis's legal battles continue, the entire boxing world is watching closely, debating the implications of the incident not just on Davis's career but on the sport as a whole. Many feel that this controversy has exposed a chink in the armor of professional boxing, highlighting the importance of enforcing rules consistently and maintaining the integrity of the sport. Regarding the 9th round incident, the referee's experience with Golden Boy Promotions led Oscar De La Hoya to be unequivocal in his stance. Taking a knee after a blow is a point deduction, as outlined in the rulebook, De La Hoya asserted, emphasizing that referee Steve Willis's failure to act appropriately was a clear error. He praised Lamont Roach's performance, noting that the underdog had put Gervonta Davis in serious trouble, making the fight much closer than many had anticipated. De La Hoya's critique highlighted the core issue at the heart of the controversy. A referee's discretion cannot override established rules, especially in a high-stakes championship bout. Prominent boxing promoter Eddie Hearn echoed these sentiments, arguing that Davis's voluntary knee should have been ruled a knockdown, even if Davis was not visibly hurt by the punch. Hearn dismissed calls for disqualification, which some had suggested due to Davis's return to his corner and receipt of aid from his team. Instead, Hearn maintained that a point deduction was warranted. He predicted that the New York State Athletic Commission was unlikely to reverse their decision, leaving a rematch between Davis and Roach as the most likely resolution to the situation. Moreover, reports revealed that plans for a Davis versus Roach rematch were already in motion. The competitiveness of the fight, coupled with the lingering controversy, made a sequel increasingly inevitable. Roach's team, led by trainer Gary Jonas of ProBox TV, had formally appealed to the commission, requesting a win by decision, knockout, or even disqualification. Although many experts, including Hearn, doubted that the appeal would succeed, the push for a formal resolution was gaining momentum. A panel of boxing experts on ProBox TV, which included veteran writer Dan Raphael, retired referee Jack Rice, and analysts Chris Algieri and Paulie Malignaggi, unanimously agreed that Davis's knee following the blow met the criteria for a knockdown. Raphael argued that Willis's mishandling of the situation had cost Roach the championship, potentially also denying Davis his first professional loss. The panel further debated whether the commission had the authority to mandate a rematch. They concluded that such authority rested with the World Boxing Association, WBA, which oversees the lightweight title. Despite this, they suggested that an immediate rematch could be a potential solution to the controversy, giving both fighters another opportunity to settle the matter in the ring. The possibility of a rematch at Barclays Center is gaining traction as a fair solution to rectify the controversial situation, a sentiment shared by many within the boxing community. This outcome is seen as the most just and logical, given the ongoing debates over the 9th round incident. Teddy Atlas, speaking on his podcast with co-host Kenry Out, offered a scathing critique of the refereeing, expressing a cynicism shaped by his many years in the sport. While he stopped short of directly accusing referee Steve Willis of dishonesty, Atlas suggested that Willis might have favored Gervonta Davis due to his star status. Atlas, known for his blunt commentary, stressed the importance of better trained officials to ensure fair decision-making in the sport. While he praised the high level of boxing displayed in the fight, noting its record-breaking attendance at Barclays Center, he lamented that administrative errors had overshadowed the skill and talent on display. He was adamant that Davis's knee following a jab should have been ruled a knockdown, not a permissible break. Atlas believed that Willis's leniency in handling the situation undermined the integrity of the sport. Terrence Crawford, one of boxing's pound-for-pound elites, added a humorous note, claiming ignorance of any rule allowing a fighter to take a knee without consequence. Atlas seized on this comment, comparing Davis's actions to a pit stop in auto racing, something impossible in boxing, where fighters are required to defend themselves at all times. He credited Roach for his sportsmanship in not attacking Davis, as he turned away, but pointed out that Roach would have been well within his rights to capitalize on the opportunity. Had Roach attacked in that moment, the narrative of the fight could have shifted dramatically, potentially leading to a knockout. instead of a draw. As the situation continues to unfold, the repercussions for Davis are mounting. Reports indicate that he faces hefty fines, community service, and the possibility of losing his WBL lightweight title if his legal battles result in a prolonged absence from the ring. Once on an upward trajectory, with dominant performances and a loyal fan base, Davis's career now hangs in the balance. Some, like Danny Garcia Sr., view this as a temporary setback for a resilient fighter, confident that Davis can recover and return to form. However, others, including Shakur Stevenson, are more skeptical, questioning whether Davis's ego will allow him to bounce back quickly from this controversy. The boxing world remains divided, with opinions ranging from sympathy for Davis's off-night performance to frustration over the recurring issues with officiating in the sport. As the dust settles, attention now shifts to what comes next. A rematch, with Roach seems increasingly probable, driven not only by fan demand, but by the need to resolve the controversy surrounding the 9th round incident. Stevenson, ever the competitor, looms as a potential future opponent, eager to settle his rivalry with Davis in the ring. For now, the sport continues to grapple with its latest scandal, a reminder of the fine line between human error and systemic failure. Fans and fighters alike await clarity, hoping that justice will prevail, whether through a revised ruling or a decisive rematch. Until then, the saga of Davis, Roach, and the knee that wasn't counted continues to captivate and divide the boxing faithful as the sport waits for a resolution to one of its most contentious moments in recent history.